And we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the workshop. Today we got Kristine Knowlton and Cavin Eggleston. Did I pronounce that right?
Eggleston, it's a fun one.
Eggleston, sorry. And
No
Kristine
worry.
is from New Jersey. And where are you from, Cavin?
I'm from the Seattle area.
Oh, Seattle area. Okay, that's cool.
Ooh.
And then have you been doing comedy for long?
After my 2-year anniversary here in Wellington.
What?
So yeah, I'm just 2 years in for comedy here. So.
Okay, what about you, Kristine?
A year and a half.
That's cool. Okay, so you guys are good. Did you ever come to the workshop, Kevin?
I've done it a couple times now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you know how it works. We go. Okay, perfect. So I just want to, for the people watching, this is a comedy safe space, which is different from a safe space, in a way that like people can say anything and we don't judge them. Yeah, so it's pretty different from a safe space. Who wants to go first?
I'll do it.
All right.
Okay.
I'll do it.
All right. And you had, I keep forgetting.
Chemistry.
Oh yeah, chemistry. All right.
That thing up in that nog. Okay, there we go. So chemistry. What can I say? You know, everything in our lives is based off of chemistry. So, for example, the air that we breathe. I mean, it's great. It keeps us alive. Except for, have you ever chosen air? The one thing that's supposed to be keeping alive trying to kill us. Isn't that great? Now, we're talking about, more than just chemistry, like chemicals and things like that. Like chemicals, like the things that we wash our body with. It's like we should be using some antibacterial soap. But I've got a little short story on some soap. Long time ago, I believe it was a brand by L'Oreal. They had this amazing kid shampoo. It smells like cherry almond. Now, it smells like cherry almond, but does it taste like cherry almond? No, it's like shit. Like the shampoo, cherry almond does not. Yeah, cherry almond shampoo does not taste like cherry almond. No. I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like that stopped there. I just keep continuing to eat it. I'm never going to learn my lesson. Chemistry's just wasted on me. Whatever. So emotions. Emotions are part of chemistry. There's anger. There's joy. There's sadness and fear. I mean, all these can be, balled up in today, especially today. Well, actually, I want to say this week they were all balled up. Did you ever just have one of those days or weeks like everything was completely messed up? And you're like, oh man, my chemistry is like off the beam today. Like what happened was the beginning of the week. It turned out very, very sad. Cousin's dog passed away. Of course, it made me really sad. But then the same exact day, I get an email from a company where I do voiceovers from. I do voiceovers for an animation, and we're going to be up on Amazon Live. So I'd be happy, and I was good to go. But then I was like, man, I'm really sad about the dog, but I'm really happy about this opportunity. So I'm like, oh man, where am I? So I spent a fraction of it completely lost. Like just completely lost. I was like, how do you feel? Like, it's definitely not like that. But I mean, we all have our ups and downs. Anyway, like the emotions, they're good. It's like we don't really think of them too much as chemistry, but it's definitely there. Another good thing with chemistry is the foods that we eat, the smell, and everything that we eat. Take, for example, like I love the show, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I don't know if anybody's seen that or not. But oh my God, when they do a food spread, I mean, I gained like 40 pounds by watching the show. I mean, it's so good. And I'm like, wow, it's like these deli scenes. And I mean, their sandwiches are like ginormous. Like, you can't even fit that in your mouth. And I'm like, that's like a 5-pound sandwich right there. I'm like, whoa. But then I was thinking, you know what they need to bring back? They need to bring back vomitoriums, you know, where you can eat as much food and just vomit it, just come back for more. And that would be like an anorexic fun park right there. Although they're really like one and done. But my piece on this take of chemistry is, let me tell you about how my fiance and I met. Now, everybody's probably like, oh, God damn it, a sappy love story. We don't need to hear this, you know. But here we are. All right, we've known each other for 10 years. We met on the set of a horror movie. And most people think, like, oh, love at first sight. No, not in this case. When I first met him, like a lot of us, it was our first time doing the movie. So we were concentrating on our lines and everything. So one of the directors said, go over your lines. We're going to be doing your scene in a bit. Everybody would do that. And he was like so focused, so concentrated. Like, he looked like a serial killer. And I was like, dude, that guy is creepy as hell. But you know what? Further down the road, the more I got to know him, the more our chemistry, you know, gave that, you know, it's like, oh, I love you. I love you. Like, there we go. But it really wasn't until we were shooting one scene that he was in. Now, this is going to be a little gross for some people. He was about to have his head run over. So it's like they had his little stuntman in there and everything like that. And they had it was like a gallon caner and a Ronald Reagan mask. And special effects guy, Brandon, he was going to run it over. And I decided, yeah, it's like, I'll be the one in front, like with the whiteboard, you know, shine the light on his head as it gets run over. So I'm there, everything. And I've got the spotlight. I'm ready. It's like the truck hit. I hit the spotlight. Head burst. And I have brains all the way up to my thigh. And then I was like, I love that man. So, well, that was my take on chemistry. So thank you for listening. Yeah.
Thank you. I wrote a few things here. I really like that, like, your thing was like a stream of consciousness. Like, you just went exactly with what you were feeling, and I thought it was very relatable. For the food spread, I didn't watch that show, but I can imagine maybe, I don't know if it's really popular in the US, but also like Desperate Housewives has pretty good food spreads, and like animes have crazy food spreads, if you want to use that example instead.
Sounds like a good idea. Maybe even be more descriptive about the food. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's, you know, and ham and olives and just ramble on. But yeah, I like that idea. Like, it's like, you know, it's like, did you ever miss The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or Desperate Housewives? You know, let's throw a couple in there, and then maybe people are like, oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to make sure you cover all your bases. That's
Awesome.
all the comments that I had.
Sweet.
Your soap story that you tell,
Mm-hmm.
I almost think it begs for like a rule of three, where you're like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, shame me 3 times. Why do I keep eating things in the soap house? You know? There's like a little extra tag that you can add there, of some kind. I did like the emotions as chemistry thing. I think that one could have some serious potential. That's where immediately I went, where like, of course, science, and also like there's the emotional chemistry, the thing you kind of then did it in Miss Maisel. I almost wonder if like you feel like you have more chemistry with the food than the people on the screen. You're like, I don't need shredded abs, just give me like shredded beef.
Yeah, there we go. I'll take a nice brisket any day.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's beef abs. It's just science.
Yeah.
And then when you said like your is fiance, right? Yeah. Looks like a serial killer at the movie. I was like, oh, are you sure you're not on the set of a documentary? You're like, it makes you question it a little bit.
Well, he cosplay as Michael Myers, so we got that whole thing going on.
Yeah, and then I do like the end where you like realize you love him because you're like covered in his fake brains. I think that's just a funny way to be like, that's. I just laugh. I always think like women that fall in love with serial killers. You're like, oh man, would I have been into Bundy?
Here we go. That answer is yes. No.
I have a new person joining us, but I don't have an image. He left. It's Jason. He's supposed to do wheels. We'll see if it works out. Cavin, did you have any other feedback before we move on?
No, that was what I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want to go or do I go?
I'll be happy to go.
Okay.
All right, so I had the topic of rent. And these jokes took me 5,728 minutes to write. Little Rent the musical joke for me to start it off. I have no idea what the actual lyrics are of that song because I never watched the play. I lied to people about it, like most of the things I watch. Rent is kind of a weird thing. Like, I don't understand why guys rent clothes. I think the like most disgusting thing that a person could ever do is like rent clothes to wear, because men will not care about any piece of clothing that they know they don't have to clean ever again. Like, that's the only time I'll ever go commando is I'm like, these go back to somebody else's problem tomorrow. I don't care. And I know the person before me has had the same thought, and I know every other person is going to have that thought too. And we've just all agreed as men, like, the worst thing that we can have is our bodies in a piece of clothing, and that's it. I think a lot about, like, what would be the worst thing to rent. And I'm honestly going to say, I think the worst thing you could rent would be a porta potty. Because there is no right dollar amount to spend on a portable pooper. Because if you spend too much, everyone at your party is going to be like, Cavin thinks about this a little bit too much. Like, there's decorative soaps in here. We don't want to use it. And then they all feel like scared about your portable toilet. But if you like get them a Home Depot bucket with a stick, they're going to be like, he doesn't care enough about our butts. He doesn't care about our needs. So I feel like, honestly, like, a porta potty is just like Schrodinger's crapper. Like, there's no, either you've spent too much or not enough. There's no sweet spot for that purchase. I really liked when we were able to rent movies. I really liked the thing that I used to do where I would try to rent the most like gruesome R-rated movie I could by tricking my mom and being like, it's not that bad. And every time I'd win, and I think it's because I was a master negotiator, but I think it's just my mom decided she didn't want to talk to me for the 90 minutes it would take me to watch it. I love rentals. I love rental properties. I will go with my friends to any rental property they ever want to. If they want to go to rent a house, I am there every time. Because every rental property is always a nightmare. And the thing about them is, you never set foot in a rental and think, I'm too good for this place. Like, you just look around and you're like, no, this is about the level of squalor I'm used to living in. You could go in and there could be wall-to-wall carpet in the bathroom. And you'll just convince yourself, you're like, well, I don't even need towels. I'll just get out of the shower and roll dry. I'll just treat those like a little ShamWow for me. I think the thing with like rental properties is like we've all realized that a rental property, like it's like closing time at the bar. And we're all just looking for something to be inside. And I got to say, I always love rental properties when they take those pictures that always make them look bigger. Like, I don't know who takes better misleading pictures, like pervert sending dick pics on the internet or a real estate agent that's got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath they need to get rid of by next week. Okay. I've never seen more fish angle lenses than I have in a real estate ad. All right. It's like Zillow is the catfishing of real estate ventures. And then my last one here, a lot of realtors have stopped using the word master bedroom, which I'm a fan of. I support it. I think instead of calling them master bedrooms, they should call them what they really are: dom and sub bedrooms. All right, that's it.
Thank you. That was good. I really liked your style. It was very good. For the porter potty, I thought, like, how would you shop for that? That's like a thing, like, where you call up and you're like, how much poop can this bad boy take? Like, or like, how wide is the seat? Like, is there, you know, like, I feel like it's an embarrassing.
That's weird. Like, you would have to crowdsource that. Be like, how much poop do I think my guests can make?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have relatives coming from the Midwest, so we're gonna go large.
We made a lot of tacos, so I don't know.
That's a good add-on or next step for that.
So I wrote down 3 things. By the way, I'm JD, everybody. Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
Hi.
About your porta potty jokes. I thought like you could go with actually like, are all porta potties neutral general? My lord, gender neutral. Like, you know, like, and make a play on that. You know, along with while you're shopping for them. Like, no, these porta potties gender neutral. You know, like,
Yeah.
When we talk about progress, like, they are gender neutral bathrooms.
Also, you was talking about like going to rent movies. So what popped in my head was like Blockbuster and how you tricked your mom into letting you rent these movies that were obviously not age appropriate or whatever. Like, did you send her off to get some Skittles and you grabbed the other movie? You know, whatever. Like, I think there's something that you work with it. Also, the closing the bar joke was really good. I really liked that. That was good timing on that. I felt like there's more there though. Like maybe an experience you had, like one time when the bar closed down and you took home a girl that was wearing a tutu dancing by herself all night. I don't know, like, you know, something like that.
Well, I loved it at the beginning, especially referencing the show Rent without even seeing it. That was awesome right there. And I go back to the porter potties too. I mean, maybe describe, should I get the wide ones, extra wide ones? Maybe make, something like, do I call like Party Poopers or Us? Like up a fake name.
Yeah.
You poop, we haul. You poop, we haul. Like something like that. But I thought it was flowed nicely together. I did love the movies. I do want to tack on to what JD said. It's like maybe, it's like how you tricked your mom. Like, you went to go grab, some candy or popcorn or something, and then you just like switched it out there real quick. Like something like that. Other than that, it's like, it was awesome. The roll dry with the whole sham wow. I was like, I actually visualized that. So that was a great one. So yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
What up, man? Good.
Yeah, JD just joined us. He's going to be doing wheels. I don't know if I already mentioned this. We forgot him. I'm sorry.
I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
No big deal. No worries.
No.
That's okay. Where are you from?
I'm from East Kentucky, like around the West Virginia border.
Cool.
I'm a hill jack, really.
I don't know what that is.
I come from like where there's a lot of rednecks and stuff. Like,
oh, that's cool.
Like,
that's
everybody
fine.
I see is white all day, every day. Like, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
Where's everybody else
all right.
from?
Oh, I'm from Montreal. Kristine.
I'm from New Jersey.
Okay.
Yes. And Cavin.
And I'm from Seattle.
Okay, cool.
You guys are all Americans.
Yeah.
I'm the only Canadian here.
Oh, I feel like we should say sorry.
Absolutely.
I should say sorry.
Yeah, who should be sorry? Really?
Someone said, Lynette said, make the ShamWow pop, maybe like an infomercial for your set, Cavin. Who wants to go next? It's me or JD?
I can go. I don't care. I'm ready to go.
All right. So I'll start the timer. Go.
So I got wheels, guys, and so I did a little research on wheels. And did you know the wheel was first discovered in Mesopotamia in 3500 BC? And about 300 years later, they started using the wheel to build chariots with. Now, if you did know that, there's a very good chance you're sleeping by yourself tonight. Because why would you know that? But But it is amazing the things we have invented with the wheel. You know, chariots, weaponry, buildings, torture devices. You know, if you really think about it, the invention of the wheel has really shaped the world. And as long as there are donuts, they will continue to do so. A few years back, the wheel may have actually reached its climax when we made the Heelys. Now, can you imagine a guy from Mesopotamia 3,500 years ago or 4,000 years ago coming to modern day civilization and seeing some guy in his mid-40s driving around on Heelys in a fanny pack? It's like, this is what you do. Of all the things you did with it, you did this. But what was his reaction be, that guy from Mesopotamia? I had no idea because I don't speak Mesopotamia. And then, like, you got this guy, he sees this guy in the wheelies, and, you know, this guy's got the fanny pack on, he drives by, and the guy from Mesopotamia doesn't know what to think. And then a big jacked up Chevy truck goes by with these big wheels on it. And you know what that guy from Mesopotamia would say? I don't know. I don't speak Mesopotamian. But I bet he would understand that guy has a micro penis. You know what I mean? And yes, I do have a jacked up Chevy truck. I'm just kidding. Oh. But I got a lot of buddies, though, that do have jacked up trucks. But you know what they look like. They got the jacked up trucks. They wear the affliction shirts and the hats on backwards, and they wear buckle jeans, and that's all they wear. And, like, they got the personality of a guy who drives a jacked up truck and wears affliction shirts and wears the buckle jeans. Yeah, this stuff ain't great. Oh.
Yep.
But it's okay. We're comedians. We're not a laughing crowd.
Right.
We're all fundamentally broken. It's okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, you can tell a lot of person by the wheels they have on their vehicle, too. My buddy drove a piece of shit 89 Chevrolet Celebrity back in high school. But the wheels on it always looked immaculate. I mean, it looked like he was driving around with diamonds with a chum bucket on top. It looked ridiculous. But he loved big girls, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But we used to call him the butcher because he used to slay the piggies. That's all I got.
All right.
Funny.
Thank you.
That was tough, and I thought wheels was tough.
The subjects sometimes they really come out of left field. Like, it's hard to write on. I really liked your pun on donuts, where you say donuts really shape the world. That was good. And I just wrote down, like, you should just a suggestion, just like pause before the punch.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
I'm way too fast. I stop way too fast.
I mean, it's okay because, like, some comedians here in Montreal in French, they do that. Like, that's their thing. They go really fast, but you still need to pause before your punch. But it was good. It was good. Anyone else?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I did like the style and Heelys. I think if I was, coming out of, Mesopotamia, and seeing these Heelys, I'd be like, is that what they did to my wheel? Like maybe he could be like he's talking to some. He's just like, what the hell are those things? Like some like play a little bit more, like try to make the voice, and then it's like talk a little bit, right. like how it would be, and those trucks with the big wheels and micro penises. It's like for a story really quick. One day, my cousin John and I, we were bolting down this one road, plain road, real fast, and then this truck comes out of nowhere, goes past him. I yell out, "Sorry, penis!" And then we get into the person, and we're driving, bolting. Looked, I was like, "That's a woman. Sorry about your lady penis." Ladies have them too, I guess. But that was funny. I like that. Yeah, just slow it down a little bit more. I too have the same thing. I'm trying the rhythm. I'm trying not to sound like an AD squirrel out of control. But yeah, it's like to slow it down for the punchlines. That was awesome.
Yeah. Chase said, "What was the evolution of Heelys?" I think you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
Cavin, do you have anything?
First off, like, there's some really fun stuff in there. Delivery on these online shows is always tough.
Yeah.
Like, there's just, you don't feel the timing from having an audience there, and it's So, props for getting a lot of jokes back in there. That donut line is I really enjoyed. That made me laugh quite a bit. So, like, all agree, like that's a good joke.
Yeah.
I was laughing about your Mesopotamia person because it got me thinking, like how proud he would be if he saw like the Heelys and then the jacked up truck, and then like he goes in and watches the game of Wheel of Fortunes. Like, am I a fucking joke to you guys? Not what I invented this for.
Right. I like it. Yeah, that's good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so that was kind of some of the ones that I was thinking about in there. That kind of makes me laugh. Is like, what would they respond to, or like, how do we misuse it?
It's like, you motherfuckers eating wheels? Is that what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Saying like the wheel's the greatest invention. Right. And it's like, do you agree or disagree with that?
Wow.
So that could be an interesting one. Like the wheel's a pretty great invention, but what's really better is like those rubber truck nuts, jacked up Chevy pickups.
For pleasures.
All right. Let's move on to me. I'm just gonna start the timer. I got Constellations today. So let me just set it up. For 1 second. All right. So, constellations, they influence things. They're made of shiny things in the sky, like planets or stars or space trash. It can also mean a cluster. A constellation can also mean a cluster of related things, like, for example, like a constellation of symptoms, or a constellation of idiots, a constellation of drunkards. You could point at a map and say, like, look, honey, a constellation of sex offenders in our neighborhood. But mostly it's a pattern of stars representing an animal or a god or whatever. And really those people that made up the names and legends that go with it, like, they really see what they want to see. Like, one of them is Zeus raping his daughter, and I'm just like, okay, I guess I just see a bunch of dots. Are you, like, I don't know. Like the Dipper, for example, some people see a plow, some people see a bear, some people see a ladle. I see kites or a mouse pointer. Or like I see a comedian walking home at 1 a.m. after a long night bombing. Cassiopeia is another constellation. Apparently, it's a woman that kept boasting about her beauty, and she kept saying she was more beautiful than the sea nymphs. And Poseidon got really angry, and he cast her into the sky. Don't ask me how. And she's stars now. She's just these 4 stars. And for some reason, she's always depicted with these huge boobs. And I really don't see it. To me, the constellation just looks like a zipper or a lightning bolt. But she's always depicted naked. What's up with that? Like, she looks like an Instagram model with, like, a big, juicy ass. Whoever drew her must have been a real dog. I mean, in a way, she's the original Instagram model. You can also see in the sky a scorpion called Scorpio. Scorpio the Scorpion. And I guess that's a cool name for scorpions, right? Anyways, Scorpio fought Orion and won because scorpions are poisonous and humans are not. And Zeus was so impressed with his good work that he put him into the night sky again. Don't ask me how. So now he can look at it whenever he drops acid and listens to Pink Floyd. Me, I think I would probably be immortalized in the night sky for being the most confused girl out there. Like, the legend would go that if you would ever get lost and you don't know your way home, you just look up and then you see me, the confused girl. And if you can't find your way home, my expression will mirror your own and you'll just feel less alone. Like, you'll still be lost, but at least I'm there, I think it's only a matter of time before we start monetizing constellations. Like, this is Orion's belt, brought to you by Virgin. this is the Panda Express Major and the Snapple Minor. You know, the Northern Star brought to you by the NRA. Yeah. Buying a star for someone's birthday, you can do that. And it seems really cool until you figure out it's a scam. You just give a company money and then you say, this is going to be called Victoria's Lucky Star. And they give you a piece of paper that says, this is Victoria's Lucky Star. No scientist, NASA, or any sort of alien is ever going to use that name for that star. No one knows that you named it that. I'm the only person that would use that name if I was ever able to find it in the night sky. So, completely useless gift. And like, the term adopt a star sounds really cute. Like, there's a little orphan star out there and it needs someone to make sure that it goes to school and gets tucked in at night because it got taken by Child Protective Services from an abusive household. Most horrifying case they've seen this year. Yeah, that's it. That's my time. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thanks.
I actually wrote down a lot. So
Oh, okay. Go for
okay.
it.
Well, like I'm the world's worst at constellation shit. I can't see a thing. Like, I just see bullshit up there. So I don't know. Like, I think it's funny, like, because everybody's like, I'm always out in the night sky trying to find all the Big Dipper and all this shit. Like, it looks the same to me. I don't have no fucking clue. So, like, yeah, I think that's a funny play on it. You was talking about Cassiopeia too, like having her big tits and stuff. It's like really, guys? Like, she's got to have big rack. Like, even you got to be sexist in the fucking constellations, you know. You was talking about your constellation, like being, if somebody got lost, like you couldn't help them, but you'd be there with them. So what's the name of your constellation? Like the asshole with no sense of direction? What, you know, I think something like that. You like come up with a name for your constellation that I'll be there with you. Like we're both fucking lost. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you talked about the stars being, you know, like a useless gift. It's like, you really do. You got me fucking, you named a star after me. Why didn't you just give me just like name some other useless gifts? Like, I don't know, like a lettuce colored paperweight. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, I should have more examples. Okay.
Like you've already given me a mother-in-law. Like you would really need to name a star after me. No. I don't know.
All right. Kristine, what about you?
I really like what JD says. It's like, yeah, you look up and everything looks the same and everything, and like as you're going on and on, you're, you know, it's like it's something like I never got it until I put on a Pink Floyd album and got high, and then I just saw all the constellations come into life, and then maybe like a battle of the constellations. And you're making up, you know, some of your own constellations. And then it's like you come back in with, you know, what's the worst damn gift ever? A star. Like, who's giving that? Like, really? Like, I might as well just adopt a penguin, you know? It's like he exists, but he doesn't know I exist, you know? But yeah, I like that one. I like, you said, like the original like Instagram artist model.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like JD's right, you know, it's like you gotta put like big tits up there too. It's like really like, oh, now I see the Big Dippers now.
That's good.
but other than that, it got my attention, so that's all I have.
All right, what about you, Cavin?
So the first one that really got me laughing was that where you said like constellation can refer to a group, and you said constellation of sex offenders in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I thought of like a little act out where you're just like, look, honey, it's Epstein's belt in our neighborhood. That's so nice. Which like that's also the nicest way you could say we live in a shitty neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's just a constellation of sex offenders. It's almost astronomically rare. I also kind of was laughing about the idea of like, not only did that person be like, oh, you see that Cassiopeia, that's a chick. He also felt comfortable enough telling, or they felt comfortable enough telling everyone and convincing them, where they're like, yeah, don't you see that really big-breasted woman up there? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's gonna go in the history books. He won that debate. And I also laughed when you talk about like being the first Instagram like thirst trap. You just wondered if there's like, it just makes me wonder, like, was there a bunch of just horny shepherds going out in the middle of the night staring at the sky?
Yeah.
I like this. Yeah.
That was awesome.
You mentioned Scorpio, the scorpion getting put in the sky because Zeus was proud of him fighting, but like, didn't he beat Orion? So it's like the loser and the winner got the same prize.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of
Participation trophy.
It's a participation trophy.
Yeah.
They got the booby prize.
Yeah. Yeah. They get to be on either side of her, I guess. I don't know. No, but there's a lot of funny stuff in there, and also I think like the idea of I actually am on the side that like giving a star to a person is a nice gift if you want to tell them they're cold and distant and a gas giant. But I also kind of was laughing because it's like made the joke about it being an orphan star, and it's like that star is going to be around long after you die, so you're just making that star another orphan.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But no, that was a lot of fun to listen to.
Thanks. All right. So everyone went. I'm not forgetting anything, right? So we're gonna move on to our own material. I suggest we keep the same first people and second people. So it's gonna be Kristine and then Cavin and then JD and I. Is that okay with everyone?
Works for me.
Yeah?
Yep.
You're ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Let's go.
Okay. So, I told a little story earlier about my fiance, but I'm going to tell a little more. It's like we've been together for 10 years. We met on the set of a horror film. So in 10 years, we've developed a lot of stories together and adventures together. Like, take for instance, the other day, we were just talking about some chinchillas. I was like, oh my God, they're so cute. You know, the cute little chinchilla butts. You know, kind of like corgi butts, but they're, chinchilla butts. So they're nice, soft, and silky. Maybe I have an ass fetish. That's not going the right way. But we're talking about getting a couple chinchillas and everything. And I like to play with once in a while. And I was like, that's a really good idea. You know what? We should go to Chinchilla's office to get chinchillas. And he's like, way. There's really a Chinchilla's R Us. And I was like, yeah, of course there is. Just type it in. So I go to get my phone to show him that there's a Chinchilla's R Us. Meanwhile, I'm making this up as I go. And I type in Chinchilla's R Us. Isn't there a Chinchilla's R Us in Ohio? I'm like, wow. It's like I actually made up something that exists. So that kind of threw him a little bit. Like another similar story happened. One year we were at San Diego Comic-Con where I was there. And it was so beautiful there. There's like no humidity there. Like if you're from like where I am, New Jersey, like the humidity is hell. And with asthma and everything, it's hard to breathe sometimes. But going over to the West Coast, there was no humidity out there. And this one lady, we were waiting in line for something, and she's like, oh, the humidity is today. And I looked at her like, have you ever been to the East Coast before? That's this killer out there. But we were talking about moving there and everything. And I was like, oh, wow. It's like there's these smaller rooms. Like they're actually not too small. I would say 650 square feet. I was like, they're perfect. They're at this place called the Imperial in San Diego, right in the middle of everything. And they're only about $700-800 a month to rent. And he's like, oh my God, that's amazing. Where do you find all this stuff? It's like cheapshit.com. And he's like, no way. It's like, there's a cheapshit.com. I was like, no, dude, I'm pulling your chain on that one. He was all disappointed. He was like, oh man. It's like, I wanted to go find some stuff on cheapshit.com. But anyway. It's like we get back, from San Diego, everything, and we're riding in the car one day, and we're at a red light. We're next to a church. Now they have a new electronic sign. It's moving, and I'm reading it, and I was like, "Oh, look! Now have services for the blind. No, services for the deaf. Let me start that one again. They now have services for the deaf." And without missing a beat, my fiance said, "But how are they going to read the sign?" Real nice. How are deaf people read the sign? They're blind. Let me go back into another quick story. Now this one isn't really part of the whole my fiance montage, but it's like I know that I'm definitely going to hell. And the reason why I know is I was scared a blind person. Now I know that's so mean, but she was my friend from high school and everything. And we met up at one of those costume stores, and they have the animatronics playing, and she had her son with her. She's about to step on one and scare the bejesus out of him. So I scare the bejesus out of her, and she ended up, swinging and hitting me and everything like that. But you know what? You can scare a blind person as long as they're a friend. That's where I'm coming from. Now, this last little tidbit. Okay, back in our day, we used to have, my fiance and I, we used to have to go to the laundromat and everything. And we were in there one day. We're just waiting for our laundry. He looks over at me, and he starts sticking his tongue out. And I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he does it again. He's like, "I'm a reptile." And I looked at him, and I was like, "Yeah, a reptile dysfunction."
Ooh.
To this, you get it. Can you explain that to him? Because to this day, has no idea. So that's all the story time for me tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really like your deaf joke. That was really funny. Where your boyfriend didn't know how they were supposed to read if they're deaf. Also, you were talking about how humid it is in the East Coast, and comedy is all about having an implicit question, and then the audience sort of wants to know the answer, and that's your punchline. And you almost said, like, I could hear it in my head, like, how humid is it?
Is it?
Like, I wish you could answer that with like I don't know, like the hair is just bigger than your body when you're there, or like your water bottles refill themselves or something. I don't know. But like it was like I got blue balls from that. And and then the cheapshit.com, I felt like you should buy that domain name if it's not available.
That would be funny. People go there and be like, "Ha ha, it's just a joke."
Yeah. So that's all I have.
Awesome.
I think analogies would really help, like the how humid is it, like if you can set up an analogy for that. I think can really help, like, because especially if you're dealing with an audience like a West Coast audience, it's like I don't know what humidity is. It's not a thing. I just know moist from Seattle, but that's it. So that would be really useful to get them on board. I also kind of like the running theme of you having websites, and I see almost it building to like you becoming like the next Jeff Bezos, because you've just had to buy all these domains.
That'd be good.
Change the lie.
Nice.
Yeah. And I got a good chuckle at the reptile dysfunction joke. That was a nice one.
I was like, "For the love of God, can I get him a pop-up book?" He's still like,
So I just wrote out two things. Again, the cheapshit.com, I really like that. But like you should I feel like once you reveal that you're just fucking with him about the cheapshit.com, like fuck with him again and give him another fucked up.
okay.
Like I got off cheapshit.com. Oh no, I didn't. I got off just whatever. Then,
Yes.
Keep fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the dumb shit, whatever.
Yeah. Does someone want this garbage.net?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
And The reptile dysfunction was another one of my favorites. But I feel like what's the pill you take to cure reptile dysfunction? You know what I'm saying? Like snake oil. Is there snake oil for that? You know,
I just Googled cheapshit.com has been bought. Sorry.
Aw.
Ooh, do they sell stuff or they
Damn.
sell like?
No, it's
is
a
it like
an
the
adult
scabs?
website. So
It's a what?
it's an adult website. It's porn.
Oh.
I knew it. I knew it.
it's exactly what it sounds like it is.
It's not like themed porn, so you're okay.
Perfect.
It's not cheap shit. You know, $19.99 membership.
Yeah, no. Damn.
It's rich my blood.
All right. Next up, we have Cavin. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right. So this is actually this is a very true story. Yesterday, my dad was in a motorcycle accident. He's fine. I need you all to know that. I just think it's bullshit that he's fine. Okay. Because he wrecks a motorcycle going 60 and he's twice my age. I sleep wrong in a bed and my neck hurts for a week and I have to cancel all my plans. That's not fair. I can't look left anymore. He walks away scratch free. Not right. But when I got the phone call, immediately my first thought was, oh no, I'm going to have to make medical decisions for this man. And it's not that I worry about making the wrong one and killing my parents because they weren't great. Okay, to be honest. That man spent an entire week of my life trying to convince me I was adopted. And he never told me if I was his son or not. So I've just been living in denial for 30 years. But what worried me is I realized I was going to have to talk to a doctor. And I'm a kid that grew up on television. So I don't know how to interact with doctors like normal people. Like if my doctor is not a like precocious genius child, or somebody with more chemical dependency issues than a meth addict, I don't trust their medical advice. I will make a doctor do an 8-ball in front of me before I'll let him talk to me about my blood pressure. Like if his parents are still married, I'm not dealing with that doctor. I'm like, no, we don't talk about this anymore. We're not talking about cholesterol. Okay. Take a hit. Stop. I did want to try to get in shape during this lockdown. I actually spent a lot of time thinking about weight loss, which is about as far as I get in any weight loss plan, is the brainstorming stage. Then I get a little tuckered out and I quit. But I started thinking about boxing as a way to lose weight. But I think that's only because the only movies my dad and I ever bonded over were the Rocky franchise. Like he liked it because it was a man talking about his way or like beating the world into submission and becoming a better version of himself. I liked it because I thought it was a documentary about the ice cream. But I really think about the Rocky movies as like the ultimate thing because in every one of them, they have this scene where they have a montage. They play Eye of the Tiger once and Rocky goes from like out of shape to fighting fit. And I thought I was just like one purchase of Spotify Premium away from having abs. But I started researching boxing. And the thing I learned is boxing, I think, is the dumbest sport. It doesn't make any sense. Because it produces stupid quotes. Like one of the things they'll tell you about boxing is they'll say that boxing is 80% mental, which that can't be true. Like the whole purpose of that sport is to knock somebody's IQ points down a little bit. You shouldn't be using your brain power in that then. Like the only reason boxing could be 80% mental is if you went into your fight with less than 100% of your brain power. Okay. Saying boxing is 80% mental is like saying rocket science is mostly upper body strength. Okay. I think they asked the former boxer how much of his brain he used, and he said 80%, and then he followed it up with his favorite day of the week was pudding. Like if boxing's 80% mental, then I gotta say, I think Stephen Hawking would be the world's greatest boxer. I am a teacher, and they'll tell you the greatest day you'll ever have as a teacher is when your students learn something new. And I want you to know that is not true. The greatest day I've ever had as a teacher is when I got an email from a parent that said, "Dear Mr. Eggleston, my son's an asshole." Best day of my life ever, bar none. Okay. Like I haven't even looked at photos from my wedding, but I've read that email 10 times. Like, I keep it in my wallet. Like it's my little just hang in there kitten. All right. Every day I get a little bit sad. But I'd say I did have a parent-teacher conference, and parents want you to do their jobs sometimes, and it's terrifying because I had this mom. We were in the middle of a conference, and she got up and she just said, "Listen, if Braden acts up again, you rough him up a little bit." And I laughed. I was like, "That is a great one, Deborah." And she didn't laugh because it wasn't a joke. Oh, wait, are you wearing a wire? If you're a cop, you've got to tell me. I can't commit a crime for you. Like, you can't outsource child abuse. All right? Deborah, that's got to stay a strictly mom and stepdad operation. All right? All right, and that's my time.
Good.
Thank you. That was good. I wrote down, why did your dad try to convince you were adopted? Was he like running some sort of scam or like?
Oh, he's just a nightmare person. Yeah, like no.
Just-
It's like Tuesday he was bored.
What?
He was like a Tuesday and he was bored. Like I said, I want to flesh that out a little bit. I'm like, I had no idea why he did that.
Yeah. Like maybe he thought it would be a funny bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like worst comedian ever. And then I wrote down also, I relate why you don't trust people that are not broken and you don't want any fucking advice from them because they can go to hell. But like maybe not everyone's gonna get that. So maybe like try to explain how annoying, it is. And then I wrote down, why was that guy an asshole, like the kid?
Oh, I have no idea.
What? But you got the email from the parent.
What did I don't know if it happened in Canada. All of our schools shut down.
Yeah.
So all these parents
Oh,
have been homeschooling their kids.
I see.
And it's just like, oh, it turns out my kid's the problem.
Yeah, I see.
So I wrote down the same thing. Like he admitted his kid was an asshole, and you could have thought that was like I was like, yeah, I know, motherfucker, or something like. I'm going.
Yeah, cool.
The boy.
Like, are you just not figuring this shit out? Because I've been knowing for a minute,
Good.
And also, the other thing I wrote down was about the parent who was like beat that kid's ass if he fucks, if he's up messing around, beat that kid's ass. And so I did it, and I got to go in front of the board next week, or something.
Yeah. Well, that bit goes on longer.
Apparently, the parents cannot give you permission to do that at public schools.
Yeah. I always think I can't win. I'm like, that kid's 15. He's got a lot of anger from the divorce.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I look like I made him mashed potatoes.
She said to beat his ass, beat 6'5", 235. I think I'll leave him alone.
He's 15 and has a mustache. This isn't going to go in my favor. All right.
He's made of anger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you have anything else, JD?
That's it. That's all I had.
That's it.
Oh, it
Kristine?
was good. It was good.
I really loved it, and I loved, the whole, parent trying to convince you that you were adopted. Whereas in my case, in smart ass case, I would have been like, that's okay, because I used to tell my friends I was adopted, kind of like bounce it out a little bit. Oh yeah, it's like, you're adopted. Yeah, I know. Like something like that. And the whole brainstorming with like the whole dieting, it's like can totally relate that, it's like, and I love how you use, Spotify. It's like you were like one step away from, it's like getting the song, get you in shape, and bam, like that's pretty funny. And yeah, I guess that's all I have. It's like everything came out pretty good, and Victoria and D added to it. So it's like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right. So next person who's up is JD, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Let's go.
So I don't know what the weather is like where you guys are at, but here it's hotter than R. Kelly watching High School Musical. It is hot. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 40 years old. I've been divorced 3 years. Got a birthday coming up this next month. And I hope I get something different for my birthday this year, because last year I got the same thing I got the year before. Titty pictures. Now listen, I like titties and I like titty pictures, but you know what I really like to have? It's some birthday cake. Because birthday cake is delicious. Have you ever had birthday cake? It's wonderful. I love it. But yeah, I know I'm getting older, man. Like I can really tell, like, because I can sit and talk about the weather all day, and I don't know like what age that happens at, but like I can talk. Like I've turned into one of them people that says stuff like, "It wouldn't be that cold outside if it went for the wind." It's like, yeah, that's how the wind works. You know? It won't be that hot outside if it went for humidity. Also, that's how humidity works. And but my favorite people to talk to weather about are the people who say things like this. Farmer's Almanac says it's going to be a bad winter. What? You mean to tell me it's going to be cold and snowy this winter? It's in a book? What kind of witchcraft is this? But I've also been in a custody battle the last 3 years, trying to get my kids. Been long drawn out custody battle. And I ended up losing. So now I've got the kids. Okay.
Oh.
Come on, guys. Pick up. But it is weird being a single parent. Like, sometimes you get unsolicited parent advice. I don't know. Like, I live in a really small town, like I told you guys earlier, and we know everybody here. And we were out the other day, and I was with my kids, and my kids were, acting up. They're kids, having fun. And the lady looks at me and she goes, "If those were my kids, I'd bust her tail." Now listen, I know this lady. I know her kids. They're not good people. They drink, they cuss, they run around all the time. So I looked right at her and I said, "Listen, Mom, I got this." I also took my daughter shopping a couple weeks ago, and my daughter's 14 years old, and now she's talking in emojis. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this or not. My daughter now talks in emojis. She was looking through the clothes rack. She was like, "Oh, I heart this shirt. I heart this skirt." So we sat down at dinner later on, and I was like, "Hey, Haley, look at that waitress right there. I like the eggplant, her." Well, my youngest son gives me a hard time too. Like, I got a 12-year-old, and he told me, he said, "Dad, your head looks like Batman, the Batman shape." And I mean, I didn't choose this haircut. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kind of just happened. But he was like, "Dad, you need to start shaving your head." So I started shaving my head because he said my hair looks like the Batman signal. And I like to call that story the day my son found out he was adopted. Also, I got invited not too long ago, man. Like, I'm just single, just chilling right now. So I got invited to bounce at a bar over in Fort Gay, West Virginia, a couple weeks ago. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever even heard of Fort Gay, West Virginia. I'm positive you have not. But if I could describe Fort Gay, West Virginia in one word, it would definitely be methamphetamine. So I'm going to this bar in West Virginia, and I don't even make it to the bar yet. But I pass this big Chevy jacked up truck, and that's the best. I don't know if you guys like bumper stickers, but I love me some bumper stickers. And this guy had the best bumper sticker I've ever seen in my life. Big jacked up Chevy truck, and he has a bumper sticker exactly like you would think that guy would have. And it says, "My couch may pull out, but I don't." That's my time, guys. That's it. Nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I wrote down, you don't get a birthday cake.
No.
You don't get a birthday cake. That
No.
was amazing. Like, that was such a good mislead in the beginning. Because I didn't think that you were gonna say that. And yeah, your Chevy joke at the end with the trucks, you can make it shorter at the beginning, I think, the setup.
Yeah, I was going to go deep into the bar thing, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all my thing that I have. This was good.
Thank you.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I think, it's like when you're talking, what you got, for your birthday of the year, and the year before was titties, and what you wanted, some birthday cake. And I think it would be a bonus if there was cake and titties. That's like a 2-for-1 here. Cake and titties.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I got that.
The titties on the cake or something.
Yeah, that would be a bonus right there. I thought the part with the emojis was, great. It's like, it's like you would eggplant the waitress. I think we've all been there. Maybe it's just me. And I love how you talked about, people, the Farmer's Almanac and everything says this winter it's going to be cold. It's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. And yeah, the people that go on 90-degree humid weather, it's gonna be hot today. It's like really, really. But yeah, I liked it all. I do agree with Victoria at the end. It's like just something like bam, it's like my couch pulled out, but I don't. I think that would be a great ending joke anyway. That's great. And that's like, thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was great. That was great. That's all I have.
Good. Cavin?
Yeah. So I liked that birthday cake one. I think that you need to emphasize your priorities have changed, because why this year is it all of a sudden you're like, I just really want cake.
Right.
Getting older is it's not maturity. It's just you're like, I like cake now. And then I also was laughing at your Farmer's Almanac one. The joke that was running in my head was like, oh man, if you don't want a bad winter, don't read the book.
Yeah, right.
Put it away, and you don't know. It'll be a great winter then. And then the ending, it kind of ends on a street joke, like the couch pulls out, but I don't. I mean,
I can hear what you're saying, man.
Oh, it's kind of a street joke. If it's already on a bumper sticker, it's like.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're like, you don't need to tell us that, man. We can see you've got 5 car seats in the back, or there is 5 kids in the back of that truck. We understand you don't pull out.
We all know you, Mikey.
Yeah. Or does he have those stickers of family, and it's just 10 of them?
You got a sticker on the back. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I like that. That's good.
But I do like, you had some really good misdirects in there, where you start the statement the one with the reveals that it's your mom. That's a good misdirect. This lady's telling me, and then it turns out it's your mom.
Right.
You have a couple of those really nice little misdirect jokes that are fun to listen to.
Thank you.
All right.
It's your turn, Victoria.
It's my turn. All right. So let me just start the timer.
Appreciate the feedback, guys.
I recently turned 30, and Facebook had a really weird way of telling me this. Since I changed age bracket, now I get different ads and video suggestions. So I'll get wish ads for something called the De-Wrinkler 3000, and suggestions for makeup tutorials 10 reasons why your eyes look old. And it's days like these I really wonder, can Facebook see me through my camera? And if Facebook can see me through my camera, is Mark Zuckerberg the one sending me all those passive-aggressive labiaplasty ads? For those of you who don't know what labiaplasty is, labiaplasty is for when you're tired of your pussy looking like it belongs to someone who only wears jogging pants for a Netflix marathon. Labiaplasty is for when your pussy looks like a sad immigrant after a hard day's work. Labiaplasty is for when your pussy looks like it has a not so fresh smell, but it's totally fresh because you've been putting Mentos up there all day, so it's fresh and minty. Anyways, if that's what your pussy looks like, you go to the doctor and you give him $10,000, and he just, snips your lips. He just cuts your lips, and voila, you got yourself a nice designer pussy. And it might seem a little extreme, but if you don't do that, do you care about fashion at all? Do you think you're just gonna find yourself in a nice, loving relationship? Have some self-respect, you slut. And before I move on, I don't want you guys to think I'm just joking about my ugly, stinky pussy. It is ugly, but it's fresh from all the mint. My friends have all been getting pregnant lately on purpose, I guess. So the sentence, I'll drive you to the clinic, is no longer appropriate. And what am I supposed not to tell you? You're making the worst mistake of your life? To be honest, I think having babies is selfish. Babies are bad for the environment. We need less people, not more. I do my part. I don't have babies. I save the earth one swallow at a time. And my boyfriend's a huge environmentalist as well. Our whole household is very eco-friendly. You know, we recycle, we compost, we swallow, you know. When I was younger, I thought about being a nun, you know, but I never got the call. You know, the call, it's like a sign from God that he gives you that you should be a nun. He never called me. I mean, maybe I just didn't hear it because I was too busy writing Dumbledore Harry Potter fan fiction one-handed. And, like, God came up and he was like, yikes, you look busy. I'm just gonna ask someone else, you know? But I would have been a really great nun. You know, my speed run of my rosary is like 10 minutes. You know, I would have been the fastest praying nun. I would have finished all my morning prayers before everyone else, and then I would have been able to go to the park and play with all the other nuns. First one on the swings, you know? First one on the swings, first one to heaven, I always say. And I would have been so chaste. I would have been the chastest nun. Even the Islamic State would have been like, take it down a notch, you're chomping on our flavor. You know. That's everything I have. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks.
I got just two quick things, man. I'll go ahead and go. Like when you're talking about the what do you call it? The labiaplasty? Was it?
Yeah, the
Fixing your
labiaplasty.
pussy? Whatever, yeah. Like it'd be funny if you looked at somebody in the audience, like a guy that was with a girl, like, sir, I know a guy. It's all right. Like you was taking a diss to her, like you tell she's got ugly pussy or something, you know. And another thing I put down is like my friend told me she got pregnant on purpose, and my first question was like, did you take your medicine? Have you been taking your medicine? Because you're not used to, you know, you're used to going to abortion clinics, not to ultrasounds.
All right. What about you, Kristine?
Yeah, I love the age bracket thing and the whole, you know, it's like, is Facebook spying on me? Because it's the truth. It's like you're ever talking to anyone in public, or even just thinking it. It's like by the time, you know, like you go on Facebook and it's like there's for something just literally talking about, and it's, dude, that's scary.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's listening.
Yeah, I love that, the labiaplasty. That's great. You know, it's like kind of like if you're looking like Dumbo down there, you might want to get snipped. And love the Mentos. I love that you changed it. It was Tic Tacs last week, and I think Mentos would definitely do a better job. So yeah, I love the Mentos more than the Tic Tacs. Yeah, I also love the, you know, compost and swallow and your whole hair, you know, writing fan fiction one-handed. I totally get that, and that was awesome. And then you were like, and then I never got calling to be a nun. You know, it was awesome.
It's a true story.
That is awesome.
Thank you. What about you, Cavin?
That was really fun to listen to. The only things I did really like the bit about your Facebook ad changing based on the age group. I thought that was really fun. The only thing I thought is at the end when you make the reference to Mentos again, I just the little tag I wrote was like, because I've been cramming Mentos up there like it's a bottle of Diet Coke and it's an 8th grade science fair.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think like what would cause a person to be like, this will freshen things up. I don't know. And then yeah, I didn't have a ton of notes. I did kind of laugh because it's just a like personal thing where I'm like, it's kind of funny that like God would be judging you for Harry Potter fanfic when it's like the Catholic Church is based on the New Testament, which is like Bible fanfic. So
yeah. Yeah, maybe I would have gotten the call if I would have written
if
some
you would
Jonas
have
fan fiction.
50 Shades of Grey to just change a name like Dumbledore's Jesus. Exactly.
We got all the apostles, you know.
Yeah.
There's plenty of tension there. All right. Does anyone have anything else? No? All right. You guys have been great. Good job.
Thank
Did you
you.
have fun?
Yeah.
Yes.
I enjoy these, man. I did one 2
Right.
nights ago, and I seen the spot was on. I was like, shit, I get back in there.
Yeah, it's really good. Now is the time that you can plug in any upcoming shows that you have or any like social media that you would like people to follow. Kristine, do you have anything?
Yes, check me out at crackedcatcomedy.com. You'll see a whole list of all my shows and everything. And I also do a weekly podcast, the Beauty and the Beast Show podcast. You find that at beautyandthebeastshow.com. We're also on iTunes and Spotify.
Perfect. What about you, Cavin?
Right now, you can find me on Buy It Cover Podcast. The marital journey through movie night using only the covers of movies on streaming.
Okay.
I put that one on, and then I have a streaming show through that page on Facebook on Thursday. We're doing a comedy debate with a bunch of comedians, and we're arguing stupid things.
Oh, that's good. That
Awesome.
sounds fun. JD, what about you?
I also do a podcast, Just Add Bourbon podcast. We're on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff.
Perfect.
We doing interviews on Thursdays. We've had politicians. We've had Charles Booker. We've had the guys climb Mount Everest. We've had New York Times bestselling authors. And I just now got a guy that's about ready to that just come off out. Joe Rogan's podcast is going to do our podcast. So
wow.
Just Add Bourbon podcast. And I've also been doing like if you guys like bourbon, I've been doing bourbon reviews on my YouTube channel. So you can just find me there, Jason Dameron, like on YouTube, and subscribe and hook a brother up.
Wow, you got a lot of stuff. So all of you take your links and send them on the messenger group, and Scott will publish them on the workshop.
I'm not in the messenger group.
Oh yeah, I'll add you. And I have a podcast called The Dirty Four that I do with 3 other comedians, and it's just dirty nonsense. And tomorrow I'm doing a show called Luke Does Your Jokes, where I do my 5-minute set that you just heard, and then a comedian called Luke will try to recreate that set with his own take on it, having heard it for the first time. So that's that. Do you guys have any last words before we leave?
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the
That was
feedback
really
from you
fun.
guys, everybody. I'm gonna take some of this stuff and put it in the set, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
guys
you, everyone.
Have a good dynamic. It was a good group. Thank you. All
Thanks for
right.
having me. See you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.